Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. This is Kevin Huckabee with What the Huck Presents, back with episode 2 of I Think My Neighbor is a Supervillain. Now, if you missed the last episode, we were introduced to Dante Miller, a neurology major who's attending UT Austin, who just completed his sophomore year at school and is now home for summer break. On the second week of summer break, a new neighbor moves in next door, and Dante immediately picks up bad vibes about this guy. Okay, we're trying to figure out why. All right. He goes to talk to his best friend Keith about the guy, and when he comes back home, he is shocked to see the new neighbor in his living room with his mother introducing the neighbor to Dante. We pick up right here. I Think My Neighbor is a Supervillain, episode 2. I don't like him.
Dante, I want you to meet our new neighbor, Professor Dennis Gray.
Mr. Miller, very nice to meet you. So, here I am, face to face, hand to hand, locked in a firm handshake with a man who obviously, at least to me, is untrustworthy. As our hands release, he continues his greeting, saying, "Your mother told me about your studies in neurology. I myself am a multidisciplinary scientist. Maybe I can help you with your studies." Sure, that would be, great, I say to him, while we're both still examining each other. My mom then says,
"Oh, that's wonderful, Dante."
My eyes quickly dart over to my mother, then back to Mr. Gray, who hasn't broken his gaze at me, and I say, sure, maybe you can help me sometime this week or the next, Mr. Gray. Yes, just let me know when, Mr. Miller. Well, I will take my leave now. It was nice to meet you, Mrs. Miller, and you as well, Mr. Miller. Yeah, nice to meet you too, Mr. Gray.
It sure was. Come by anytime you want, Mr. Gray.
Thank you, and goodbye. So our quote, unquote, new neighbor leaves and walks back to the next door house. Just as he's about to enter, he looks back at our house like he knows I'm still watching him from our door, which I quickly close when I see that he sees me. After closing the door, I'm about to run upstairs to my room when my mom says,
"Well, he was nice."
I look at my mom like, "Are you kidding me?" and say, "I don't know, Mom. There's something off about that guy. You didn't feel a bad vibe from him?"
Dante Jerome Miller, I'm disappointed in you.
Oh boy, when my mom uses my full name, I know she's not playing. I say, "Me? Why are you disappointed in me?"
Because I raised you better than that. And as a young black man, you know what it's like for someone to distrust you without even knowing who you are. And your father, God rest his soul, would be disappointed in you too. You know what he went through as a young black man himself.
You know what, Mom? You're right. My bad. I said that to placate her, but I still think to myself, I don't trust Mr. Gray. She asks me,
"Are you going to Best Burger, or do you want me to cook you something?"
So after I decide on a home-cooked meal, I head up to my room to set up at my bedroom window to keep an eye on the house that Mr. Gray is in. See, my bedroom window faces the backyard of the neighboring house, allowing me to not only see the backyard, but also the up and downstairs back windows of the house. Here I am, watching, waiting, in the chair that I placed at my bedroom window after dinner. Speaking of dinner, as I sit at my post, I think about the conversation Mom and I had. After saying our grace and filling our plates, I said, "Our new neighbor sure is interesting." Mom dabs at her mouth after taking a bite of the pasta she made for dinner and says,
He really is. And so nice, too. You know what I forgot to ask him?
"What's that?"
About the neurology professors and neurologists who have been disappearing. I mean, he is a professor. I'm sure he would be interested in that.
All of a sudden, for some reason, a tingle went down my spine, and I asked, "What do you mean disappearing? And where did you hear that?"
I heard it on the news, honey. They said that neurology professors and neurologists have been coming up missing over the last few weeks. Oh, Dante, do you think your professor at school is fine?
That's when the tingle down my spine turned into that feeling of pins in your armpit, like I'm all of a sudden anxious. But for what? I respond to Mom, "Well, I haven't seen or talked to Professor Green since the last day of lab where I shook his hand and said goodbye for summer break."
Well, Lord willing, he's just fine.
"Yeah, I hope so." Now sitting there in my spy chair, if you will, I look up and the time has flown by because it's suddenly 12 midnight. I think to myself, already midnight? Where did the time go? They say time flies when you're having fun, but I'm not having fun at all. That's when my vigilance pays off as the lights start to flash on and off in Mr. Gray's house, and I hear weird electronic sounds. That's it. This guy is really up to something, and I'm going to keep watching him. That was all on Monday. 3 days go by, and it's now Friday. I wake up, handle my bathroom business, and get dressed. That's when I hear my mom from downstairs say,
Dante, I'm going to go run errands, and I'll be gone most of the day.
I yell back, "Okay, Mom, be careful. Love you."
Okay, love you too, honey.
After my mom leaves, I grab my phone because I have so much to tell Keith. I face dial him. "Yo, what's good, man? I know you're off on Fridays, so do you have time to come over here? I have a lot to tell you, and I want you to see something." "Bro, is this about that neighbor again?" "Yes. I'm trying to tell you. I think I have some evidence." "Evidence of what, dude?" "Keith, just come over, man." Okay. I'm on the way. Give me 15. Bet. We get off a face dial, and Keith gets to my house about 15 minutes later, like he said. After he rings the doorbell, I crack the door open, just enough to see if it's really him, and enough to look next door. Keith laughs and says, "You on the case, huh, Secret Agent D?" "Whatever, dude. Hurry up and come in before he sees you."
Before who?
"Dude, hurry up and come in." I practically pull Keith in as I close the door. I explain to him, "Man, I've been watching old boy next door since Monday, and every time I go outside, so does he." Keith is now looking at me like I have two heads and asks, "D, are you okay, man? You don't believe me? Well, watch this. I'm going to leave the door cracked just enough for you to see. Watch." I then go outside to check the mail, and just like I'm trying to get Keith to see, Mr. Gray comes outside too and picks up a newspaper on the front porch. As I head back in my house and close the door, I can hear his front door closing too. I look at Keith and say, "You see what I mean?" Keith balls up his face while shaking his head no and says, "Come on, man. There's something wrong just because he went outside to grab his paper while you were checking the mail? Now, D, that's a reach, man." "A reach, huh? Okay. Watch this." This time, I decide to go to my car to, air quotes, look for something. No sooner as I step outside, you guessed it, so does Mr. Gray. He just so happens to go to his parked Range Rover and I guess, air quotes, look for something too. I rush back in, close the door, and turn to Keith and say, "Still not weird to you, huh?" Keith looks in the air, squinting his green eyes and says, maybe it's a little strange, but it could still be a coincidence, D. Keith says, shrugging his shoulders with his hands up. I say, yeah, okay. Well, humor me. You go outside real quick. What? We trying to see if he comes out when I do? Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, bet. I'll act like I'm going to my car. So I let Keith out, and I stand, peeping through the cracked door as he approaches his car parked next to mine. Guess what doesn't happen? You guessed it! No Mr. Gray. Keith comes back in, and I say, "You see now?" Keith looks at me, and with a chuckle says, "Bro, I still don't see anything wrong. A little strange, but not wrong." Okay, Keith. Okay. You're gonna see, I say, shaking my head up and down. He says, "Man, let's go get something to eat." I say, "Bet. Let me go change shirts and grab my keys. Come on." We dart upstairs to my room, and upon entering, Keith sees the chair I have set up at my window and laughs and asks, "Dude, is that like a spy station or something?" Yeah, man. I've been watching old boy, and every night around midnight, I see the lights flashing on and off and hear strange sounds from that house, dude. D, you really are acting like a stalker now, Keith says as I'm changing shirts. I brush him off, saying, "Whatever, dude. Hey, toss me my keys on the dresser over there so we can go." As I catch the keys, Keith looks at me with a "what's up with you" look and asks, "Since when are you left-handed?" Huh? What are you talking about? D, you just caught the keys with your left hand, and I've known you since we were 7, and you've always been right-handed. I don't know what you're talking about. I just caught the keys, bro. You ready to go? Yeah, I guess. Let's go. As we head down the stairs to the front door, I say, "I wonder if old buddy is going to come outside." You are really tripping, D. Okay, we'll see. So we go out. I lock the door and we get in my car. Just as I start the ignition, I'll say it again. You guessed it. Mr. Gray comes out onto his front porch and watches us as we pull off. I say to Keith, "Look who's outside." Whoa, he did come back out. As I bag out and drive off, I watch Mr. Gray in my rear view mirror while Keith is looking over his right shoulder from the passenger seat. We both see Mr. Gray stand on his porch watching us drive off. I quickly look over at Keith and say, "So, I'm tripping, huh?" Keith looks at me with a furrowed brow and says, "Yeah, nah, that's kind of weird, bro." Now facing the road, I say, I don't like him. We make it to Best Burger, get our food, and find a table in a back corner to sit, eat, and discuss Mr. Gray. As we eat, I say to Keith, I still think it's weird that the Walshes just up and left their house. Maybe it's like I said the other day. They might have gone on vacation and are just renting that house for the time being. Yeah, right. Look, I told you, around midnight, the lights flash on and off, and I hear weird sounds coming from the house. Well, D, he did come to the store to get hardware. Maybe he's working on something in the house. Keith is referring to when he saw Mr. Gray at the local Fernandez Brothers, a chain of hardware stores owned and operated by Keith and his family. I respond, now, Keith, when have you ever heard of someone fixing up a house they're just renting for the summer? Nah, there's got to be something else going on.
Like what though, D?
I take a bite of my bestest burger with extra cheese and suddenly remember, whoa, wait. I just remember something.
Okay, what's up?
When me and my mom were eating dinner the other night, she said she heard on the news that neurology professors and neurologists have been disappearing.
Okay, and?
And what if my so-called neighbor is behind it? D, you're starting to kind of creep me out, bro. Why would, what's his name again? Mr. Gray? Yeah.
Okay, why would Mr. Gray be kidnapping neurology professors and neurologists?
I don't know. Maybe he's a supervillain or something, and he's planning something. Man, I wish I had telepathy like Mind's Eye from the Justice Men.
Really, bro? A supervillain?
Yeah, I'm almost certain of it now. I wish I could get in contact with Captain Omega or just one of the Justice Men, I say, staring out the window of Bestburger. The momentary silence of me staring out the window and thinking about Mr. Gray being a supervillain and Keith finishing his bestest combo meal is interrupted by someone with a scruffy voice from behind us saying,
"Excuse me, gentlemen, but I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. It sounds like you guys are looking for a superhero. Look no further. You got one."
Whoa, and there we have it. Episode 2 of I Think My Neighbor is a Supervillain. I don't like him. Yeah, things are starting to kind of pick up, man. Come on back for the next episode. Why does Dante think his new, air quotes, neighbor is a supervillain? And who is this scruffy voiced person saying that he's a superhero? Come on back, man. Next episode of I Think My Neighbor is a Supervillain is called Episode 3, Loser Hero. My name is Kevin Huckabee for What the Huck Presents. Peace and blessings.